welcome back to our graduate student series for Graduate Student Appreciation Week. We're excited to have Kai with us here, and she is a graduate student in what program?
I am pursuing my master's in the Fisheries and Wildlife Sciences.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. I think my first question is just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me here today. And so I am from northern New Jersey, about 10 minutes outside of New York City. And for my undergraduate, I went to Hamilton College, which is a college in central New York. And there I got my undergraduate degree in environmental studies with a focus in chemistry. So I will say I did make a little switch later on to focus more on wildlife.
Awesome. And so you're here at Arkansas Tech. Tell me a little bit about what put that on your radar. How did you find the program?
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of me finding tech, I actually found my position through a advertisement that my advisor, Dr. Barron, posted on the Texas A&M conservation job board. And as soon as I saw it, it seemed like the perfect fit for me because it does combine my interest in lab research in terms of the eDNA component of my project, and then my passion for wildlife, project being focused on chicken turtles. So the conservation job board is how I found tech. Then I did review, the program and all the degree requirements, and it really seemed like it aligned with my interest. So then I applied, and now I'm here.
Yeah, and here you are, and we're happy to have you. So kind of, you come here to Arkansas Tech and you're in a fish and wildlife program. So tell me a little bit about some of the courses you're taking in the program.
Definitely. So currently I'm taking 2 courses. I'm taking herpetology, which is very applicable to my project, being that herpetology is the study of amphibians and reptiles. It's with Dr. Kellner, and it's an intense class, but I'm really enjoying it because I'm learning a ton of new information about the herps here in Arkansas, which honestly I was previously unfamiliar with, being from the Northeast. I'm really loving the class, and we get to do Friday labs, so we get to go out in the field and actually catch some herps and ID them, so that's really awesome. And then the other class I'm taking is graduate seminar, which is designed to help basically prepare grad students for doing things like presentations, reading articles, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm so far really enjoying the classes I'm taking, particularly my herpetology class where I get to go out in the field and do research.
Yeah, and so you talked about these things you're getting to do in class, but then you also talked about presentations for your seminar class. And I know you're working on a project with Dr. Barron, and you recently presented that. So could you tell me a little bit more about that? Yeah,
definitely. So this past February, I presented a poster on my research methodology for my chicken turtle project at the joint annual meeting of the American Fisheries Society and the Wildlife Society. So my poster was in the wildlife section, and basically I presented on my methodology since I haven't actually begun my research yet. My field season actually is starting next week, so that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And my poster was basically describing that my project will be focused on evaluating the distribution and abundance of western chicken turtles, which right now are considered to be rare and declining in the state of Arkansas, and they are a species of greatest conservation need in all 6 states where they occur. So my project will be using a 2-step approach to try to better understand where chicken turtles are and in what numbers they're occurring. So I'll be using environmental DNA sampling, or eDNA sampling, and then I'll combine that with trapping and visual surveys to be able to estimate abundance and get demographic data.
So you talked about you're about to start sampling. Tell us a little bit about how that goes, or where you're going.
Yeah, definitely. So my project, it is focused on the Mississippi Delta ecoregion, which is on the eastern side of Arkansas. It encompasses 27 counties. And so for this first field season, I will have 2 field seasons. I'll be focusing on the northeast part of the state, and then next year I'll focus on the southeast. So some of the sites I'll be going to are wildlife management areas, as well as Arkansas Natural Heritage sites I'll be going to there as well. I'm mainly focusing on sites that have suitable habitat for chicken turtles, and I'm able to access, whether it's through getting permission from private landowners or through agencies like AGFC and Natural Heritage.
Cool. That sounds really fun. When I was a kiddo, I'm sure like you and Dr. Kellner and Dr. Barron as well, is always trying to like, look at, catch turtles, check them out, all that kind of stuff. Very cool. So I guess, the next question I have for you is thinking about, soon, maybe not, hopefully not real soon, but soon you'll graduate and you'll depart us here from Arkansas Tech. And what do you think is next for Kai?
Yeah, good question. I will say probably after I graduate in the next couple of years, I am either going to go for my doctorate, which is a big maybe, or I will just enter the workforce and my, dream job is just to be a wildlife ecologist conducting research that helps, at-risk species like the chicken turtle. And yeah, that's the plan, but we shall see.
Yeah, you got some time to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's such cool work, and my background's in a similar field, so I'm always like super happy to see students that are passionate and love it. Like, I can tell that, you're very invested in it. Okay, Kai, so you're doing your sampling and all that, but my bigger question is why the Western chicken turtle?
Yes, so good question. It's like, why should we care? So the Western chicken turtle, I will say, it is a very rare species here in the state of Arkansas. Currently, it's also very understudied. There's only been 3 previous studies on the chicken turtle, and those studies have not necessarily been focused on that eastern part of the state. So basically, there's a huge knowledge gap. And also, the Western chicken turtle is a species of conservation need, not only here in Arkansas, but also in the other 5 states where it resides. So the chicken turtle, it's imperiled. It needs our help. We need to learn more about it so that we can conserve and protect it for future generations. And I'll also say my project is funded through a state wildlife grant, a SWIG grant, and so the proposal was on the chicken turtle, so
sure.
kind of have to stick within the project
Sure.
parameters.
Yeah. I think, like you and Dr. Kellner and Dr. Barron and others, right, is I grew up as an outdoorsy wildlife kid, and so I remember, looking under rocks or catching turtles and checking them out, a lot of red-eared sliders and such. Very cool, and it's always fun to hear somebody who's got that passion about the research like you do. It's very, I think it's energizing. My next question for you is what's next for Kai? What's the future hold?
Yeah, good question. So I think after I graduate here in a couple years, I will either pursue my PhD, and I think just having that additional credential will help, make me more competitive in the workforce. But I know with my master's I can still get a job just fine. Or I will just go right into the workforce and pursue my dream job, which is a wildlife ecologist doing research to help protect and conserve at-risk species.
Sure. Is there so as you think about that future, are there any other species that are also of interest for you?
I will say not specific species, but I will like to stick with the Testudion, or the turtle taxa. My passion for turtles really started just a few years ago when I did a wildlife internship through the Student Conservation Association.
Sure.
And ever since then, I've been hooked on turtles. They're pretty awesome. And I will say, of the wildlife out there, they're probably not like some of the most heavily studied. A lot of people think of the cute fuzzy mammals, or they think of birds, because you see those like all year round.
Right.
So I think herps, and specifically turtles, they don't get as much attention as they should. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I really just want to continue on my turtle path.
Sure, yeah, no, and that's very cool. I love turtles, and it's have for a long time, so I share that with you. So I think, kind of the next question I would have is, if you think about, if you met yourself a few years ago, or if there's a student that's finishing their undergraduate degree in biology or wildlife or whatever it may be, and they're thinking about grad school, right? They're thinking like, should I do this, or what should I do? What kind of advice, or what kind of questions or thoughts or advice would you give to that person?
Yeah, so I would definitely say for any prospective grad students to definitely feel free to reach out to potential advisors, see what kind of research they're doing, and see if your interests align with that. Because I do think that the research project is a very important part, particularly if you're a thesis student. I know here at Tech we also have the non-thesis option, and I've met some of those students, they're really awesome as well. But if you are doing the thesis track, it's really important that your advisor and you get along, and you guys have similar interests. So definitely reach out, get on their radar, see if they are accepting students the following year. And I would also say an important component in addition to our research here as a grad student is classes. So I think as I mentioned earlier, review the courses and see like, oh yeah, these courses really sound exciting to me. This is something that I'll actually enjoy going to. So I think a combination of reaching out to advisors, making sure the coursework aligns with your interests is the main advice I would have. Maybe one other piece of advice I would have is just to try to gain as much field experience as you can if you are interested in doing field research. It really does help you set you apart from other applicants.
Sure. Well, Kai, thank you so much for spending a few minutes here with me this morning. I really appreciated it. Please stay in touch and let us know what's next, and we want to help you celebrate those wins.
Thank you.
Successes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody.